What if a loving parent was slowly erased from a child's life, not by choice, but by a quiet, invisible campaign of manipulation? This is the reality of parental alienation, a devastating form of emotional abuse that leaves no physical marks, yet inflicts deep and lasting psychological wounds on both the child and the parent they are turned against. It's a topic that's often misunderstood, hidden in the shadows of family conflict. Today, we're going to bring it into the light, because understanding it is the first step towards stopping it. So, what exactly is parental alienation? It is crucial to understand that this is not about the normal conflicts or disagreements that can happen after a separation or divorce. It's not about a child temporarily being upset with a parent. Parental alienation is a deliberate and ongoing strategy where one parent, the alienating parent, manipulates a child to unjustly reject the other parent, the targeted parent. The core of this behavior isn't about protecting the child. It's about power and control. The alienating parent pressures the child to choose a side, forcing them into a loyalty conflict that goes against their natural instinct to love both parents freely. This isn't a fair fight. It's a calculated effort to sever a bond, using the child as a weapon. How does something so destructive even start? It rarely happens overnight. Parental alienation builds slowly, brick by brick, through a series of subtle but corrosive behaviors. It might start with casual badmouthing, where one parent consistently paints the other in a negative light in front of the child. They might say things like, "Your dad doesn't care about us," or "Your mom is always too busy for you." Then, it escalates. The alienating parent might start rewriting history, twisting past memories to portray the targeted parent as unloving, incompetent, or even dangerous. Another powerful tactic is withdrawing affection. If the child comes home happy from a visit with the other parent, the alienating parent might become cold, distant, or sad. This teaches the child that showing love for the targeted parent results in punishment, the loss of love from the parent they live with. They're put in an impossible position, forced into loyalty tests that create fear, guilt, and a sense of obligation. To survive emotionally, the child often complies. They start rejecting the targeted parent, not because they want to, but as a coping mechanism to keep the peace and maintain the approval of the parent they depend on daily. The impact on a child caught in this web is immense and can last a lifetime. Imagine being a child and feeling like you have to betray one parent to please the other. The very foundation of your emotional safety is shattered. You lose the ability to trust your own feelings and perceptions. This creates a constant state of anxiety, confusion, and inner turmoil. Children in these situations often struggle with their identity and develop low self-esteem. They're grieving for a parent who is still alive but has been emotionally ripped away from them. This is an invisible loss, but it's profoundly real. In the long run, this emotional trauma can make it incredibly difficult for them to form healthy, trusting relationships as adults. They've learned that love is conditional and that relationships are about power and betrayal. This is not just a family problem. It's a childhood stolen. So why is parental alienation so hard to spot? It often flies completely under the radar. One of the biggest reasons is that children become incredibly convincing actors. They repeat the manipulated beliefs and false memories as if they are their own. When a child says, "I don't want to see my dad because he's boring," it can be easily mistaken for a genuine preference or a sign of growing independence. Outsiders, including teachers, counselors, and even court officials who lack specialized training, may not recognize the underlying manipulation. They see a child who seems confident in their rejection, and they take it at face value. People are also hesitant to intervene in what they perceive as private family matters, especially when there's no obvious evidence of physical harm. This silence, this lack of awareness, is exactly what allows the abuse to continue and escalate, hidden in plain sight. Now, let's talk about the experience of the alienated parent. For the loving parent who is being rejected, the reality is nothing short of a nightmare. Imagine your child, whom you love more than anything, suddenly turning against you with anger and fear for reasons you don't understand. They might refuse your calls, ignore your messages, and look at you like you're a stranger. You're cut off from their life, excluded from school events, birthdays, and all the small moments that make up a parent-child relationship. You're forced to love your child from a painful, heart-wrenching distance. The grief is profound, like mourning a living child. It's accompanied by a crushing sense of helplessness and frustration, especially when no one seems to believe you. This experience is incredibly isolating, and many parents suffer in silence, blamed for the very rejection that was engineered against them. The consequences of parental alienation don't just disappear when a child grows up. The emotional scars often reemerge in adulthood. As adults, these individuals may struggle with chronic trust issues, anxiety, and depression. They might find it hard to form stable, healthy attachments in their own romantic relationships. Sometimes, as they get older and gain perspective, the manipulated memories begin to unravel. They may start to recognize the manipulation they endured, leading to immense guilt and regret over the lost years with the targeted parent. And sadly, the cycle of dysfunction can repeat itself. Without intervention and healing, the patterns of behavior learned in childhood can be passed down to the next generation. This is why early recognition and intervention are not just important, they are absolutely critical to breaking the cycle of trauma. So what do children in these situations truly need? It's simple, yet so often denied to them. They need the freedom to love both of their parents without pressure, guilt, or fear. They need to be shielded from adult conflicts. They need honest, age-appropriate information, not a manipulated narrative designed to serve one parent's agenda. Most importantly, they need all the adults in their lives, parents, family members, teachers, and legal professionals, to prioritize their emotional well-being above all else. This means recognizing the signs of alienation and intervening early to stop the damage before it becomes irreversible. It requires education, awareness, and a commitment to protecting the child's right to a healthy relationship with both parents. Parental alienation is a silent epidemic that quietly steals childhoods and shatters families. It leaves no bruises, no broken bones, just a trail of profound and lasting emotional harm. The first and most powerful step we can take is to call it what it is: emotional abuse. By raising awareness, we can help protect vulnerable children, support rejected parents, and begin to heal the bonds that every child deserves to have. Recognizing the problem is the beginning of the solution. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about this incredibly important issue. If this video resonated with you, please share it to help spread awareness. And if you want to see more content that tackles tough but necessary topics, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's work together to bring these issues out of the darkness. See you in the next one.